Now it's time to think about solutions. So what are some solutions to the global climate change? To tackle the problem of global climate change, we must control the levels of the greenhouse gases. One common solution is to reduce your carbon footprint. What is carbon footprint? The carbon footprint of a product, service, or event is the total amount of carbon dioxide, CO2, and other greenhouse gases such as methane emitted over its full life cycle. We need to reduce the amount of carbon dioxide and other greenhouse gases which are emitted over the full life cycle of a product, service, or event. Let's start with electricity. Most of the electricity used in the UK is made by burning fossil fuels. As we know, burning fossil fuels will release carbon dioxide into the atmosphere. So one product of the combustion reaction of fossil fuels is carbon dioxide. CO2 is a greenhouse gas. So one solution would be to pump the carbon dioxide produced in fossil fuel power stations deep underground to be absorbed into porous rocks. And this could be done in old redundant oil fields. This technique is called carbon capture and storage, and it's estimated that this would increase the cost of producing electricity by about 10%. So electricity is produced by burning fossil fuels, and this will release carbon dioxide into the atmosphere. One possible solution is to pump the carbon dioxide produced underground to be absorbed into porous rocks, so to be locked again in these rocks. This is called the carbon capture and storage. However, one problem is that this will increase the cost of producing electricity by about 10%. What about methane gas CH4? The methane produced from cattle could be decreased if there was less demand for beef. And thus, plant-based diets offer a more efficient use of land, with farmers using their fields to grow crops and vegetables rather than to feed animals. So if we decrease the demand for beef by depending on plant-based diets, farmers will use their fields to grow crops and vegetables instead of feeding their animals. Consequently, we will have less cattle and thus less methane is produced. Actually, world leaders meet regularly to negotiate limits on greenhouse emissions. Many governments are taking actions such as taxing fossil fuels and cars that burn a lot of petrol or diesel. These are called carbon taxes, and they are funding research into alternative forms of energy. They may also support the use of biofuels. What are biofuels? Biofuels are made from plant material which absorbs carbon dioxide during photosynthesis and effectively just return that to the atmosphere when they are burned. So they can be thought of as carbon neutral. So some governments are taxing fossil fuels and cars that burn a lot of petrol or diesel. So they are using carbon taxes. Moreover, they are also supporting the use of biofuels. Biofuels are referred to as carbon neutral. So this fuel is made from plant material. This plant material will be absorbing carbon dioxide through photosynthesis, and then it will return carbon dioxide when used as a fuel. Moreover, companies which will be producing carbon dioxide in their processing of materials will have to plant trees. These trees will be absorbing carbon dioxide through photosynthesis,